Welcome, one and all, to another edition of Inside the Inferno. I'm Rome Katie, and alongside me is Mahir Sinhasan. And Mahir, today's show is not a normal Inside the Inferno show where we cover all things ASU athletics, because tonight is opening night of number 14 Sun Devils hockey.
That's right, Rome. There's so much to talk about before tonight's opener against number 5 Penn State. New additions, a national spotlight, even an alumnus being honored. We have you covered for what to expect heading into the team's 18th season under head coach Greg Powers and its 11th as an NCAA program.
We dropped the puck on today's show with a bit of an old reliable. Here with an all-hockey version of Sun Devil 6 is our own Tanner Buck.
Thank you, Rome. As I would normally say, let's get ready to spark it up with this edition of the Sun Devil 6. This edition is guaranteed to get a little icy, as I cannot wait to show these cold highlights from the ice last season. Skating in at number 6 on is Calgary Flames prospect forward Colin Potter, who capitalizes on the 2-on-1 rush, shoving the puck on the backhand for the first goal of his collegiate career last season against Air Force. Passing it around at number 5 is a trifecta of passes that starts with forward Artem Schlein finding forward Bennett Shimmick, who puts it on a platter to defenseman Ethan Schmaggy, who puts this shot onto the back of the net for a work of art against Colorado College, taking a 2-0 lead in the second period. Making his second appearance at number 4 is Potter, who labels this one where Mama hides the cookies, top shelf against Robert Morris University, putting ASU up 3-0 in the middle of the second period. At number 3 is forward Bennett Shimmick, who bolts between both defenders and scores the game-winning goal in overtime against number 6 ranked Denver to send Mullet Arena into a frenzy with a final score of 6-5. This was the Devils' third win against the reigning national champions last season. Making his third appearance on the list at number 2, no other than Potter, who puts on the brakes on this defenseman and then goes down, putting ASU up 2-1 against number 3 ranked Western Michigan. Etching in his spot at number 1 is forward Ryan Kerwin, who gets the edge on left wing side, delivering the game-winning goal through 5-hole Minnesota Duluth netminder in overtime. This goal punched ASU's ticket to the frozen faceoff for the last call in St. Paul. Guys, that is all for our special ice-cold edition of the Sun Devil 6. As I toss back to Rome Mahir, back at the desk.
Thanks, Tanner. Moving on to the team's roster, which features a younger core this season. The Maroon and Gold said goodbye to 6 graduates and 4 seniors, and replacing them with 11 freshmen. Isabella Perez has more about the new faces on campus.
Forward Ben Keevan and defenseman Lincoln Keene come to Tempe with big game experience. These 2 freshmen have already built chemistry as they have skated alongside forward Colin Potter on Team USA at the U18 World Junior Championship. Keevan, who stands at 6'1", displays speed and finishing ability, proved he can score against top international competition. Keevan scored the game-winning goal in the bronze medal game against Slovakia. Keevan was selected in the second round of the 2025 NHL entry draft by the New Jersey Devils. He was a part of the Des Moines Buccaneers, where he posted 13 goals and 43 points in 51 games last season. Keene, who reaches 6'2", showed he can be a reliable force on the blue line with his physicality and smart decision-making. Keene is an eligible prospect for the 2026 NHL draft. Keene appeared in 61 games, tallying 2 goals and 8 assists for 10 points on the United States U18 national team. Alongside Potter, who has already established himself at ASU, he finished 4th on the team in goals and 8th in points during his rookie year. This trio brings proven chemistry from the international stage. The addition of Keevan and Keene will bring immediate impact to ASU. They provide a balanced mix of skill, physicality, and confidence. With this trio together on the ice, the Sun Devils aren't just adding fresh faces, they're bringing in a winning edge that can change games from day one. That's a trio built for impact and built for ASU.
Thanks, Isabella. Last year, much of ASU's success was highlighted by an extremely talented transfer class. Forwards Ryan Kerwin, Artem Schlein, and Bennett Shimmick made outstanding impacts. Here to break down what this year's transfer class looks like is our own Kai Janagabis.
Thank you, Rome. As the Sun Devils get ready to take on Penn State this weekend, they do so with a few new faces after this past offseason's transfer portal. Arizona State made room and opened its arms for some players to find a new home in the Valley. one of which is forward Ty Nash, an Arizona native originally from Scottsdale. Nash makes his way back to the Valley after playing his freshman year in Canada for the University of Alberta, where he played in 27 games, racking up 8 goals and 7 assists for a total of 15 points. Another Arizona native making his return to the Valley is forward Logan Morrell, who transferred from Michigan Tech. He racked up 11 goals, 21 points, and took over 500 faceoffs, where he won 299 of them. I mean, this guy is great at the dot. Another forward transfer that has ultimately decided to commit to the Maroon and Gold was forward Johnny Waldron, who's making the move from Miami of Ohio, where he spent his first 3 collegiate years. Waldron is coming off a season leading the Redhawks with 16 assists and being tied for the team lead in points with 20. Another transfer is forward Noah Powell, the former Ohio State Buckeye, who saw limited playing time, tallying only 2 goals and 3 assists through 17 games. Overall, ASU was able to get a lot of help up front, but we'll have to see how these acquisitions play out for the Maroon and Gold tonight. Back to you, Mahir.
Thanks, Kai. Head coach Greg Powers has multiple freshmen joining his squad, but he's also tapped into the potential of junior league players across the United States and Canada, many of them taking the next step of their career here in Tempe. Lachlan McTagg now joins us to talk about these players. Lachlan, thanks for joining us. What can you tell us about these additions?
Yeah, Mahir, before we dive in, I want to take you back to last September when Arizona State became the first school to break the CHL barrier when forward Braxton Whitehead committed to the team. Now the Sun Devils will feature 8 players from the CHL, but there's 2 in particular that I want to highlight. And we'll start first on the back end with defenseman Justin Kipke, who adds some much-needed size. Coming in at 6'4" and weighing 207 pounds, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with back there. Kipke comes to Tempe from the Victoria Royals in the Western Hockey League, where he missed just 5 games in his 3 years in Victoria. Last year, Kipke captained the team and had an astounding 12 goals and 50 assists in 64 games. Kipke will be an immediate impact player on the back end for ASU.
Lachlan, let's talk about the forwards now. And ASU lost some key players, Ryan Kerwin, Artem Schlane, the Jackson twins, Lucas Sillinger, just to name a few. Who from this freshman class really sticks out to you?
Well, for me, it has to be Sam Alfano, coming from the Erie Otters in the Ontario Hockey League. The 6'4" right winger led the Otters and finished tied for 6th in the OHL with 41 goals last year. After that terrific season in Erie, he's ready to make the jump to college hockey, where he will no doubt play big minutes right away. With his large frame, quick hands, and elite finishing ability, he's going to be a problem for a lot of teams this year. And after last season, head coach Greg Powers had an objective to make his team bigger and more difficult to play against. With a pair of towering freshmen, they're certainly accomplishing that goal.
A lot of moving pieces for the Sun Devils side. Thanks, Lachlan, for joining us to talk about this team's junior league additions.
Last year's goaltending duo, Luke Pavicic and Gibson Homer, split time in the crease for the Sun Devils. However, both have since moved on from the team. Head coach Greg Powers had the tough task of trying to fill those massive holes in the offseason. Our own Ian King has more on the team's new tandem in between the pipes.
Vine now coming forward. Jack Devine to Harris to end it!
This is how last season ended for Sun Devil hockey, where head coach Greg Powers proceeded to face a unique challenge this offseason, a goaltending room that has no returning faces for the first time in over a decade. A position that Sparky historically fills with talent looked towards a major rebrand this offseason, which was found in senior Connor Hastley and freshman Samuel Urban. Urban is a name to watch. While he may not get a lot of time early on this season, Powers firmly believes he has 2 starting goalies in his holster.
You ever had at that position? Because they're really 2 ones. You know, you have a kid that led the NCAA in shutouts last year, and then you have Herbs, who was Slovakia's World Junior National starter, right? So we have 2 ones back there, and they're making each other better every day, and that's what you want.
While Urban is a freshman at Arizona State, he's also spent the last 3 seasons playing hockey at a high level, whether it's starting for the USHL Sioux City Musketeers or representing Slovakia on their World Junior Championship team. He's ready to take the net at any given time. Urban finished the 2024 USHL regular season with a whopping 1,123 saves, etching the 5th most in the league. On the other hand, Hastley has already been given the start for Friday's season opener against 5th-ranked Penn State and seems to be the #1 option for the 2025-26 season. Hastley comes from Bentley University, where he played for 3 seasons, his most recent being his best. He finished 2024 with a 1.96 goals against average, a .925 save percentage, and boasted an NCAA best 11 shutouts, tied for the 2nd most ever in a single season. Between Hastley and Urban, there's a lot to be excited about in the crease for this season and those to come. For Inferno Intel, I'm Ian King.
The Sun Devils leadership group was fully announced last week, and here to join us at the desk to break it all down is our own Ashton Sharon. Now, Ashton, what could you tell us about Arizona State's previous two captains?
Well, Rome, forward Tyler Gratton and defenseman Ethan Schmaggy left big shoes to fill for the Sun Devils this season. Their leadership on and off the ice will be hard to replicate. Gratton was unanimously voted captain for the 2023-2024 season after transferring in from Penn State, following career highs in both points and assists the previous season. Meanwhile, Schmaggy was a part of the program his whole collegiate career and was an alternate captain the year before, earning the C on his jersey. The presence of building your way to becoming a captain and becoming a mainstay in a lineup is something that ASU is hoping to replicate with its captains this year and beyond.
Now, Ashton, you mentioned the leadership from Gratton and Schmaggy. Who will be the two guys to step up this year?
Well, Mahir, the co-captains this season are forwards Kyle Smolin and Bennett Shimmick. Smolin and Shimmick will be key factors for the Sun Devils this season. In the team's season opening media availability, the two described their captaincy style as a good cop, bad cop dynamic. As some of the players have said, Smolin will be the aggressor, being in his teammates' faces more, while Shimmick, on the other hand, will be there to explain and talk things out with his teammates. The two were huge pieces that were retained over the offseason. Smolin, the do-it-all center, played on the team's penalty killing and power play units, while bringing an edge to the team's identity. Furthermore, Shimmick is last season's NCHC leading returning scorer with 37 points.
Now that you explained who the co-captains are, who are their alternate captains on the roster?
Well, Rome, first is defenseman Anthony Dowd. The 5'7", 155-pounder will have tough shoes to fill for ASU Blue Liners. Following Noah Beck's departure to the San Jose Sharks and defenseman Braden Bozer is currently out with injury, Dowd posted the team's best plus-minus rating last season. Forwards Cruz Lucius and Sean McGurn will look to make immediate impacts offensively as the other two alternate captains. Lucius, who returned from injury during the season, looks to get back on pace with his time at Wisconsin, where he collected 68 points in 2 seasons. McGurn, a U Sport transfer from the University of New Brunswick, averaged over a point per game pace last season.
Ashton, thanks for joining us and talking about this leadership board as the Sun Devils start their second season in the NCHC.
When someone says the words Happy Valley, the Whiteout, or Beaver Stadium, your mind directly goes to Penn State's historic football program. But what if I told you that the Nittany Lions have just as much history on the ice as they do on the gridiron? Our own Parker Bay has more on Penn State's and Arizona State's hockey programs.
Penn State and Arizona State's hockey programs experienced similar rises to the NCAA Division I level. Both schools started as club teams. The Nittany Lions received a $102 million donation in 2010 from Terry and Kim Pagula, owners of the Buffalo Bills and Sabres franchises. 3 years later, Penn State made the jump to the NCAA Division I level. ASU head coach Greg Powers, who played goalie for the school's club team from 1995 to 1999, was promoted to head coach of the club team in 2010, the same year Penn State received its donation. Powers powered the Sun Devils to a 2014 ACHA National Championship title. 2 years later, the Maroon and Gold went D1. The Nittany Lions lead the all-time series against the Sun Devils 7-1. When was the only Arizona State win? You'll have to go back to November 3rd, 2018, when Joey Decord and Johnny Walker, two program staples, carried ASU to victory in overtime at Pagula Ice Arena.
Whacked down in the slot by Talvidia, behind the D, Stevens reaching for it, Walker gets free, their best player in on goal scores! Walker scores on Jones, Arizona State gets its statement win at Pagula.
What else would you want?
A lot can change in 7 years. Friday's puck drop will mark the first meeting between these two programs since 2018. From ACHA to NCAA, both teams have climbed college hockey's pyramid, entering the year as top 15 ranked programs. For Inferno Intel, I'm Parker Bay.
The number 14 Sun Devils start their season this weekend in a 2-game series against number 5 Penn State. Tonight's opener with the 7 p.m. puck drop will be nationally televised on NHL Network. Joining us now is Hannah Flanagan to talk about this series. Hannah, thanks for joining us. What should we expect from the Sun Devils as they hit the ice for the first time this season?
Yeah, thanks, Mihir. This is a fresh approach for the Sun Devils with many new faces on the roster, 17 new skaters to be exact. With a long offseason behind them, they now get to test themselves against a ranked Big Ten opponent coming off a Frozen Four run last season. The Nittany Lions are a strong offensive team, meaning the Sun Devils will need to stay sharp in their defensive coverage and goaltending. Limiting penalties and capitalizing on key plays will make a huge difference in how this series plays out. With all the national coverage and buzz around this weekend, ASU's goal is to set the tone early, and there's no better time to show what this group's capable of as soon as that puck drops.
Well, Hannah, there will also be a huge spotlight tonight on Penn State's Gavin McKenna, who is projected to go number 1 overall in the 2026 NHL entry draft. What challenges will he and the rest of the Nittany Lions present for the Sun Devils?
All eyes will indeed be on McKenna, and rightfully so. He's going to be a huge difference maker for this Penn State team. As a 17-year-old, it's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts to college hockey. McKenna finished second in the Western Hockey League scoring race with a whopping 129 points in just 56 games last season, landing him in the WHL and CHL's Most Valuable Player award. Penn State is a fast and high-powered team, but head coach Greg Powers made it clear they will not be afraid of what they see on the ice. This is a huge game for the Sun Devils. It's the home opener, it's on home ice, and it's early tests that could help define the direction of their season.
Absolutely, Hannah. And you talk about the direction. Despite it being October, you have this matchup against a top 5 opponent before facing the likes of Notre Dame and either Alaska Fairbanks or Quinnipiac next week. What does this series mean for ASU moving forward?
I'd say to watch how quickly this team comes together with so many new faces. Building chemistry early and feeding off of a home crowd can make a big difference. Regardless of the outcome, there is a nationwide spotlight on Mellett Arena this weekend. That's extraordinary for a team that is only in its second season and the NCHC, one of the best conferences in the nation. It just shows how far ASU hockey has come and how much it's still growing. So winning this weekend would be a massive step forward for the Sun Devils.
The Sun Devils have won their home opener 3 times in the past 4 seasons. They're looking to make it 4 of 5 tonight. Hannah, thanks for joining us.
One of ASU's most decorated players in program history gets his time to shine tonight, as Joey DeCord's number 35 jersey will hang in the rafters of Mellett Arena forever. To give a deep dive into DeCord's illustrious career so far, here's our own Zach Nicolaitis.
For the first time in Sun Devil hockey history, an alumnus's number is heading to the rafters of Mellett Arena. Seattle Kraken netminder and former Mike Richter Award nominee Joey DeCord is set to have his number 35 retired ahead of Arizona State's home opener against the number 5 ranked Penn State Lions. Over his tenure at ASU, DeCord broke and still holds virtually every goaltending record in program history. He's the all-time leader in goals against average, save percentage, shutouts, saves in a single season, and all-time career wins leader with 82. DeCord backstopped the 2018-19 Sun Devils to their first ever NCAA tournament appearance and earned NCAA West Second Team All-American honors and set ASU's single-game saves record with 53, all in that same season. Most importantly, he became the first player to ever sign an entry-level National Hockey League contract and play an NHL game. The Ottawa Senators' 2015 7th-round selection made his NHL debut on April 4, 2019. The Kraken then claimed DeCord from Ottawa during the 2021 expansion draft. Now, he is Seattle's clear-cut starter and became the first goaltender to ever post a shutout in the Winter Classic in 2024, when he also earned Winter Classic MVP. The Boston native arrived at ASU when the program was a shell of what it's blossomed into now. DeCord's passion and belief in the maroon and gold has helped create the culture of ASU's hockey that's contributed to its current success and status.
And we talked about what the vision for this place could be and how he could help us build it. And that's exactly what it is. Our mantra is be the tradition. You get to come here and you get to set the standard. You get to be the tradition and be the guy that in 20 years said, hey, I helped build that. That was me that helped build that with all my best friends. That's what that mantra means. He's a living proof of everything we want that to be.
DeCord looks to continue his National Hockey League career while still proudly considering himself a Sun Devil for life.
Since becoming the home of Sun Devil hockey in 2022, Mullet Arena has played host to massive events. Nail-biting games, sudden death winners, even moments that bring people to tears. It's enchanted, dare I say magical, and Mac Boyke has more on what makes the rink special.
What a better way to start the winter off than a whiteout. Although it's not winter just yet, ASU hockey will be back in action this Friday against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State's football team just hosted the Oregon Ducks for its whiteout game. This week, the Sun Devils will turn the Inferno into a blizzard with a whiteout of their own. This will be the 48th time ASU fans have sold out Mullet Arena since it's opened its doors in 2022. The student tickets for Friday's game sold out within hours of being released earlier this week. The Inferno will certainly be in full effect for this two-game series. First, we saw the ASU football team sell out every home game during this season. Now we are seeing ASU hockey sell out its season opener in what is set to be a huge primetime Friday night game. These are facts to make all Sun Devil fans proud. Now it's your turn to be loud in the crowd. If you're an Arizona State fan, make sure to wear your white Sun Devil gear to tonight's game, as this has the potential to be a classic at the Mullet.
And that just about does it for a jam-packed hockey episode of Inside the Inferno. Mahir, it is an honor getting to share the desk with you on my first show as an anchor.
Likewise, Rome. If you want to keep up with everything Arizona State athletics, don't forget to follow us on X and Instagram at Inferno Intel, and check out our website at infernointelmedia.com. For Rome, Katie, and our entire crew behind the scenes, I'm Mahir Sinhasan. Thank you for tuning in to Inside the Inferno.